everybody? It's Marty Bahama causing a ton of drama on a Tuesday. Thank you, the most beautiful woman in the world, Kamikaze Chrissy, for getting this started for me. I appreciate that. You are awesome, awesome, awesome. Guys, if you don't know it by now, you need to be drinking Coke Zero. And I am not paid advertisement, by the way. This is not paid ads. But I love Coke Zero, and it has helped me lose a lot of weight. So if you are in that mentality, I need to better my life a little bit. Well, first thing is start feeling a bit better about yourself by trying to make better decisions. And let's talk about some better decisions today when we talk about the Facebook group. Joining Facebook groups, posting in Facebook groups, creating polls in Facebook groups, under the radar, not getting kicked out by the admins out of the Facebook groups. We're going to talk about how to make that magic happen and just about some of the things you can post in the Facebook groups to get the attention, to create that buzz. So let me make sure I'm in the right place at the right time, talking to the right people. Again, I always say this, so it's like a broken record, a little newer to YouTube. Spent a lot of time doing a lot of lives in Facebook. Thank you, Kamikaze. The only thing I do not like about the YouTube as much as Facebook is with the Facebook, I can see who is watching or who come on board, and because it would let me know who joined the live. And then I could say, hey, hello, hello, hello. So if you want me to give you a shout out, you got to like this and then make a comment, and I might be able to see it happen. But otherwise, you're just going to have to sit here and listen to me rant about the Facebook group. Something that I love, something that I feel like that I know inside out. I tell a lot of people when it comes to the Facebook groups, if there's somebody out there on this planet besides Facebook themselves that may know just a little bit more than the Facebook groups than I do, I doubt it. But if they do, they're not going to know how to pull the clients out of the Facebook groups like we do. We have absolutely mastered finding endless clients out of these Facebook groups and having that comfort of knowing where your customer is coming from, knowing when you're going to get paid, knowing that you don't have to chase leads anymore, knowing you don't have to spend any kind of money anymore for advertising. Guys, I'm telling you, this is going to change your mentality and your future if you just follow the buzz steps. Follow the easy to replicate, 100% mobile steps that you can do no matter where you're at. One thing I love about this, we all have to use the restroom. No matter how you want to look at it, it all has to happen. There's a lot of times I find myself in there making posts or creating polls because I finally have a few minutes to sit down and actually concentrate and look at my phone. And trust me, it don't take a few minutes. When you join up with the Buzz, if you're not a Buzz team member, you'll get taught all these different shortcuts. We pre-plan our posts, we pre-plan our polls, everything we've got them ready to go. And so let's talk about that real quick. Thank you, Don Marie. Thank you, Kamikaze. Haha, see, now I'm seeing some comments coming here, so that's cool. Thank you, guys. So as anybody shows up, please let me know you're in here. Yes, Don Marie. I'm pretty sure every time I go back and listen to these, I think it's your computer and your speakers. But I could be wrong. But I've been going back and listening to a lot of these lives, and it seems like, and I've got the mic. I ain't using this mic. I'm using that mic over there, which if I had a speaker, I could use this mic. And then we get everybody to hear it. So let's get started talking about the Facebook groups, how to join the Facebook groups, and great job, Joe and Bray. You guys are working awesome together in Missouri. That is freaking amazing. Some of the magic I'm seeing. This guy is brand new. He's a brand new loan officer / satellite branch manager to open a branch for me. He's on the border of Illinois and Missouri, and I didn't say Missouri. And he opened a branch for us in St. Louis. He got into a little bit of what we call Facebook timeout, Facebook jail, where sometimes we go a little too fast. It's a very, very small price to pay for free advertisement, not having to pay for leads. But even when you find yourself getting in a little bit of timeout period, you still find all these other ways that the buzz teaches you to get around all that, if it ever does happen. So for him, for example, Joe reeled in 21 applications over the weekend. 21 applications over the weekend, and didn't have to make a single telephone call to get those applications. And he is in a mortgage business, a new satellite branch manager for me. 21 applications over the weekend, no problem at all. That is life changing for people in our world that has spent a lot of time calling leads, a lot of time buying leads. Now all of a sudden, we, instead of having to try to convince this person who's probably going to go with somebody else or has been called by somebody else to come with us, no matter what type of business, convincing that people and converting those people into clients is a monster key. It ain't just about the fact that we found endless clients, because one thing I have definitely figured out for sure, you can throw endless clients at a lot of people, no matter what the business is. Endless people coming at them, but not everybody's going to have that right personality. Not everybody's going to have the right way to do things or the right way to respond, to message, to be able to get these people to actually become clients, become customers. So when you're out there joining these groups, the one first advice I'm going to give you is don't join with your page. Join with your regular account, your profile. One thing you're going to realize when you start following the buzz and start watching us, we're going to teach you how to be a person. That's one of the most simple, basic things that I see most people make the mistakes on, is they try to come across too salesy, too pushy, too businessy. Instead, come across as a person. Start a conversation with that person in Messenger. Now remember this, what a lot of people don't realize is when you have that direct link in Messenger with somebody, you've got a tie. You've got a tie to somebody who is definitely carrying around their phone. They may not be carrying around your business card if you hand them a business card. They probably threw it in file 13. We know where that file is. So think about that mentality when it comes to sending that message to somebody. Now you've got this direct link, and they're going to find you. When it comes time to need your service, whether you're a real estate agent, insurance agent, loan agent, or whatever you do, when it comes time for them to find you, they're going to be able to find you very easy in that messenger. And I know this because it has happened to us over and over and over again, where we have people reach back out to us years later, months later, years later. Hey, I took your advice. I'm ready to go. And I forgot about that person. There's so many people that's coming in nonstop out of these groups that it's easy to get lost in the shuffle. And then next thing you know, months go by, and then they reach back out to you, and you're like, hey, I'm ready. If you put them on that path to what they need to get qualified, whether you're a real estate agent and they're wanting to sell their house, maybe they need to do work to the house, maybe they're not quite there yet. You put them on the path, okay, get this done and get this done, and we'll be ready to list it. Because you know that it's not going to appraise. It's not going to appraise with the work that needs to be done, so it needs to be fixed anyway. So go ahead and put them on that path to making that happen. Same thing when it comes to buying. If somebody's got a little bit of credit issue, credit score is not what buys houses, it's a repayment ability. But you put them on a path and you say, follow this direction, and then you come back. And I'm telling you, the craziest thing ever, they come back a lot. And you would have forgot about those people if it wasn't for, number one, your direct message, or number two, your holding pond that you created, the PBG. And we're going to be talking about that tomorrow night on the live, so tune in. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Tune in here, listen to me talk about these Facebook groups. I'm telling you, if you're any kind of business or if you're any kind of professional, you want to hear this advice I'm going to be giving, because it's going to change your life and it's going to change your thinking, just like it changed mine and Christy's and my partner Dave in the mortgage business many years ago, to totally just cut off all paying for leads. We were spending about $3,000 or $4,000 a month buying linen tree leads, buying lower my bill leads, spending doing radio advertisements that did not work. And now with all this craziness, that's always my replacement word for the pandemic. with all this craziness going on and the social distancing, the buzz formula is the greatest thing ever for a lot of people that need that self-help, that need to be taught how to fish for themselves, how to bring in endless clients and not have to rely on somebody else to make that happen for them. So that's what you're going to learn by kind of watching the buzz. And tomorrow night we're going to be talking about that holding pond, creating a branding group, getting yourself out there, making sure they know who you are. So as you're joining these groups, we're going to not pay attention to those 3 questions. Now you're going to answer those 3 questions that you get asked. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be plenty of groups you try to join. They won't ask you the 3 questions. They've not got them set up yet. They don't know anything about their Facebook group. That might be a group you might want to buy. If you try to join a group and they ask 3 questions, or they don't ask 3 questions at all, they don't have a cover photo maybe, or something just don't look like the group is, nobody's really taking care of it, look and see who the admin is. Reach out to them. That could be your group pretty soon. Tune in on Thursday night, and you're going to hear more about that, because this Thursday, guys, it's going to be a very important night for all the Buzz team members. It's going to be a very important night for anybody who wants to know the value of these Facebook groups, because I'm going to break down plenty of things I look at when I'm buying Facebook groups. And guys, all these stickers, every one of these stickers, they all represent where we own groups at. We've got groups in over 30-something states. I still got to finish those other states, kamikaze. So I'm telling you, pretty soon I'm going to start working on those other states until we get this whole thing golded out. Okay? Golded. I don't know if that's a word or not, but if it's not, we just made it up. Golded. Might want to see if we can trademark that like Realtor did with their word. But all those spots out there, all these places all over the world is where we own groups at. Right around 3 million members combined, all over the place. And I can go to those groups, which I have been. Actually, Dawn Marie, our assistant here, our Buzz manager, has been going to the groups, and she's been changing the cover photos for us and putting up, because we actually ordered the Cybertruck. Thank you, Kamikaze. She is so amazing. She's ordered, and it didn't take a lot of money to order the Cybertruck, guys. So don't think we're special, all right? It took $100 down. And if you want to order the Cybertruck, we'll drop the link in here later on. With $100 down, you need to order it. It is the apocalyptic vehicle. I think that's what we called it. Something like that. I don't want to get too fancy at those words because I start messing them up. Right there, bear with me for a second. Got to keep this going so I don't lose my train of thought. It's usually a very short train, usually an engine and a caboose, and that's it. And I lose that train of thought a lot, and I'll start, as Kamikaze says, she says I'll start preaching, I'll start ranting, and I do, because I have seen so many people come into the Buzz, take my advice, look at it, and then go change it. And I'm like, why? We spent 6 years trying to figure this out. 6 years trying to make sure this is going to work totally smooth. We know how to convert. No matter what the business is, we know what you should message them. We know how to become, how to get into these groups. So as you're seeing those 3 questions, get back to that short train. As you're seeing those 3 questions, make sure you're answering those 3 questions as an individual, with your profile, not with the business account, not with the business page. Get business pages out of your head. We're all about the groups here. But as you're joining these groups, sometimes if they say, are you planning on advertising? We're going to teach you how to advertise without advertising. As a matter of fact, you're just planning on starting discussions. So you can answer, I'm just going to be starting discussions. Or you can just say, nope, no advertising. But there's things you need to say, and think about this. The only reason they're asking you these 3 questions, it's not because they really truly care about your individual needs as far as what kind of business. They don't want you going into the groups and spamming a bunch of photos, a bunch of cars, a bunch of houses. And the way I've always looked at this, because the Buzz is excuse proof, I can knock down every excuse in the world that we have over and over again. But the way I look at this is if they're not going to let you start a discussion in a Facebook group, guess what? They're not going to let you advertise in that Facebook group unless they're trying to get you to pay for it. Because there's plenty of people, including myself, that monetize these Facebook groups, or at least try to monetize these Facebook groups, because people are starting to see the light. They're starting to realize, wow, it is a community. It's not just a Facebook group. It sounds very vague when you say Facebook group to me. It's just like Facebook group. There's all kind of groups. What kind of group? But it's a community. And it's a community that you either create and then build, or it's a community that you join that's already been created and built. And then you start realizing, wait a minute, this community, yeah, they're selling a lot of stuff in here, but they're also talking a lot in here. And there's 20,000 or 30,000 people in this group. And all you got to do, guys, is go to the top of Facebook at the search button, type in different cities around you. There are literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of groups all around us. So many groups, so many different names, so many different communities that you can't even see straight. You can never even join them all. I think right now, Kamikaze, she's in over, if I'm not mistaken, she's in like 5,000 groups, somewhere in that area. I'm in like close to 3,500, 4,000 groups. So saturation, no matter what type business you have, will never ever be an issue. And if you show up here tomorrow night on the live, you'll realize that creating a holding pond will eliminate any kind of thoughts or any kind of worry that these groups may ever get saturated. But trust me, they won't, because there's just way too many of them, and there's so many people in those groups that would love to see whatever it is you have to offer. Whatever it is you have to offer, whatever you're selling. Are you a real estate agent? They would love to know that you may be able to get them to a path to owning a house or selling a house. And you do this by going into the group and you create these posts and these discussions. So here's some advice from the buzz. When you're going into a Facebook group and it's a buy, sell, trade group, do not try to sell something. Do not whatsoever try to sell anything. Worst case scenario, just don't. Always start a discussion. Always start a discussion. Keep your pictures out of your posts. You don't need to blast them with pictures. What you need to do is get attention. You just get attention by creating a discussion. So if I'm a real estate agent, the very first realtor reached out to me, and I give this analogy a lot, or this scenario, is she said, I see you all over Facebook, Marty. What are you doing different? And I said, I create discussions. I don't try to sell. I don't have an actual product. Well, I do now. We have books. We have 10 Google Classrooms. So yeah, you go to Human Energy Buzz. Of course, I try to sell now, and I got a website. But if you don't have an actual product, you don't need a website. And a lot of people think you do. You don't need a business page. A lot of people think you do. We have done it very consistent for 6 straight years, closed over, at least by now, 2,000 people. We had 1,000 in a 3-year period that come out of the Facebook groups, that we put them on a path, got their docs in, got them into a home, closed their home loan. Over 1,000 easy in 3 years. And it was nothing to do with the business page. It was nothing to do with posting as a business page. It was nothing to even remotely have anything to do with our business page. But so many people are hung up on the business pages. And a lot of people are hung up on the business pages because of the easiness. They think that if you find somebody out there that knows how to work those business pages and do the paid ads, and they can get your name out there, and they're going to tell you, well, for 64 cents, you get this lead. For 90-something cents, you get this many leads. It's what it boils down to. Even though you're throwing a big chunk of money at it, a lot of times it's $2,500 or $5,000, and then the next thing you know, they're giving you these leads that you got from these paid ads that some bot probably took over half the conversations, and then they're like, well, see how great of a deal this is? You've got 200 leads, it only costs you $2 a piece, blah, blah, blah. I hear that stuff all the time, and I've had so many people verify that the leads that you get through the buzz, because they're not leads, we don't go lead shopping, we don't go lead looking. We're connecting to real people instantly. Real people that want your product instantly. That's not a lead, that's a dream. That's a buzz dream. Ha ha, ha ha. And thank you, Kamikaze, and all the work that you have put in. Dawn Marie, nonstop helping. Thank you very much. Always, Johnny on the spot. You're there when I need you. Enlist. You conk out early. Haha, just giving you a hard time. Too many brownies. So, as you're posting these groups, and you're starting these discussions, you can also do something called create a poll. So if you guys haven't seen this in a Facebook group, or haven't saw this in a Facebook group, go out there and look and look at some of the groups. You will, and you click on the announcements in the groups. A lot of times you'll see a lot of polls that are moved to the top of the group and marked as an announcement that person either runs a group or they're friends with the person that runs a group. Because you'll notice in a lot of our groups, if you go to the hey, what's up, Troy? What's up? Yes, Troy, this is new for us. It's different. This YouTube stuff is we've been on Facebook for years. Tons of lives. I know for a fact, just in 1 year, we had done, oh Lord, no, it's a year and a half. It was like 270 lives. And the only reason I know that is because we had Nas, one of our helpers, download them all to our Google Drive just for that one span of time, because it was in our Buzz Formula group. And I'm telling you right now, that is a lot of lives. And I wish the whole time I've been on here, because I like the way this looks better. It looks like it's more real time. What's up, Ralph? Yay! Now I'm seeing my Buzz team members come back. That's what I want to see. I hope I get all the Buzz team members to follow us on here. I'm going to start going live 4 nights a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Tonight we're talking about creating posts, creating polls. And when it comes to creating polls, this is another really good tidbit of advice. You will not get notified. Let's say I create a poll. And one of my favorite polls to create for a real estate agent is a seller's poll. And it's worded something like this right here. What would it take for you to become a home seller when things get back to normal? Or you can say now, since we're getting so close to fall, what would it take for you to become a home seller in either now or in the fall? How much, not what would it take, but how much would it take? So it's one of my favorite polls to create, is how much would it take for you to become a home seller either now or in the fall? And then you put the options: 100,000, 200,000, 400,000, a million. And trust me, they'll click on 1 million and 2 million, because I've got proof of that. I've got a few polls I've created. You ain't gonna create a poll in Tennessee and get anybody to click the $1 million. Ain't gonna happen. But out in Cali, in one of our Cali groups, I think it's Bakersfield, I created a poll, and I've got a screenshot of it. And it's one of the options was 1 million and 2 million, and I think we had either 4 or 5 people click that option. So you can find luxury sellers, just like you can find luxury buyers. And you'll find great credit scores, just like you can find bad credit scores, because these are real people. They're not leads. They're real people on Facebook, everyday people. And what we gear towards when we're creating discussions, we're usually gearing towards brand new people that didn't know about what we do. When we're creating these polls, sometimes you can, and the great thing about the polls, you can gear them towards refinances. You can gear them towards selling cars. You can gear it towards selling insurance. You can do it towards finance sellers. I had a real estate agent say, Marty, can you find some sellers? Sure. Created a poll, woke up the next day, and had 20-some people want to sell their house. And getting back to the train that totally, it's only the engine and a caboose, when I was talking about that other real estate agent who'd asked me what I do different. So I told her, I said, create this post. Hey everyone, I'm a local real estate agent here. I finally found a great lender to go down to a 600 credit score USDA, 580 credit score FHA, who's interested in buying a house. Like, comment for info. Within 10 seconds, guys, I'm talking about quick, I didn't even realize she posted it. She goes, oh my gosh, I got a message. And the guy that we closed, the last name was Schwartz, closed his loan for 160, 180,000, somewhere in that area, within 30 to 45 days. Life changing. She couldn't believe it, because she spent a whole week doing the same thing every other business and professional does out there. Blasting the Facebook groups with a bunch of pictures, a bunch of websites, a bunch of products that the admins, it gets their attention. It gets their attention, like, oh, who's this Ralph Robles in here? Who's this guy spamming my group? Now the great thing for us, we don't spam the groups. We advertise without advertising by starting these discussions, by creating these polls. And getting back to that train of thought on the polls, I was getting ready to say this. You'll create these polls out there, and you'll have a lot of people click the options. Boom, 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 boom. But you don't get notified when they click those options. Craziest thing ever. It's just the way it's always been. You'll only get notified when they like the poll, when they share the poll, or when they comment on the poll. You don't get notified when they click the option, so you got to save the poll. Some of the small things that the buzz teaches you. We teach you so many things that's crazy. But you got to save the poll. And when you save it, you'll know how to go back and find it, or go back to the group, type your name in, and find it that way. Regardless, the poll would be the same kind of mentality of, okay, I got this never-ending filling lobster bucket here, lobster cage. I'm going to throw it out there, and they're just going to come and climb right into it. That's exactly what happens. Then you got to learn how to message them. And then you got to learn how to let them know you message them. So there's so many things that go into, but it's simple. It seems complicated a little bit, but it really is simple. I've got Don White, one of our newest loan officers / future satellite branch managers, told me today, he didn't tell me his age, but he told me today he's in his 60s. All right, that's good enough. He's in his 60s. We also got another guy, 73, who's kicking butt with a buzz. But anyway, in his 60s, Don White took over, I think he said 14 applications. I got it on a Zoom. 14 applications yesterday. It was yesterday, not just over the weekend, just yesterday. Now, I tell everybody, age is just a number. It's your mental game, all right? It's the willingness to realize that even if I'm in my 60s, because hey, I'm 47 now, feel like I'm 99, but even though I'm in my 60s or my 70s or 80s, I'm willing to adapt what's on this planet. And especially when I've got people telling me, I read a conversation earlier between a real estate agent and a loan originator, how she's new to the buzz, and she says, this is so addictive and fun. I love it. I cannot believe it. Because you go from a world, we all go from a world to where we're always accustomed to do the norm. And that norm is to spend the money on the radio ads. That norm is to buy leads. We're not accustomed to driving our boat down the lake and fish jumping into the boat saying, me, take, and that's what it's like with the buzz, and it does get fun, and it does get addictive. And because it is 100% mobile, it's all done right here, so we teach a lot of people, hey, make some of these posts, start some of these discussions at nighttime. Now they say the best time to post, here's some more tidbit, good information for you. The best time to post, Facebook says, it's noon, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Now Marty says it's whenever you can, but don't push the limits too hard. But yes, if you're at nighttime and it's 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, you're bored, you're awake, create a few conversations, a few discussions, wake up the next day, and you'll have people saying me, me, me. And if you have not done that yet, and you can't figure out how to do that, message me directly, and I'll help you figure out how to do that. I'll show you that there's a better way out there besides wasting all your money on advertisement, that using the Facebook groups and using the messenger and the messenger groups will make life simple. It'll cut down on your telephone calls. One thing about it, in the mortgage world, we went from one small branch to having 9 or 10 branches, satellite branches out there, but we got about 3 or 4 processors that's handling all these loans going different directions. And the one thing I hear more than anything is using these messenger groups in this buzz loop, it'll cut down your telephone calls tremendously. And it's instant. They used to call it instant messenger before they changed it to chats. I'm not sure where their logic on that. I mean, it's okay, I guess, but I still call it chats / instant messenger, or just instant messenger, because it is instant. And the difference between that instance of somebody saying, hey, did you get the fax, or did you get my email, and not just sending an email, going into the messenger group and say, hey, did you get that email, just to get that confirmation instead of waiting, not knowing what's happening. Or it could be a simple question, no matter what type business you're in, and you could knock it out in a second, where we all know as soon as that phone rings, one question leads to another question, leads to a conversation, it leads to family, talking about family, friends, and it could, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have conversations sometimes, but there's always those times where you're like, man, it's just not, I wish I wouldn't have to take this call right now. Well, if you would have been using a messenger or messenger groups, you probably wouldn't have had to take that call. You probably could have knocked it out in a second. So that's what we call the buzz loop. I'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow night when I'm talking about the PBGs and how to use the buzz loop to get people into your PBGs. So we'll definitely be talking about that. Guys, it has been it's great to be back doing the lives. I can't wait till we get all the Buzz team members back on here, so that way they can start commenting, start asking questions, and we can get the buzz rolling again like we did before. I'm telling you guys, I like the YouTube better. I think you guys will too. Thanks again. Be sure to share this with friends and family. See you guys.